the sun sets, I come alive. The world keeps running, but I stand still, obeying your command, Yahuwah's will. No working hands, no toilet ground, only peace and joy abound. A day of rest, a gift so true, Yahuwah, I delight in you. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. No buy and selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. A day for worship, a time to be with family close and heart set free. I hear your voice in stillness deep. You call me close, my soul to keep. Your love surrounds, your spirit leads. You give me rest, you meet my needs. Set apart from worldly ways, I lift my voice in songs of praise. Your covenant forever stands. I trust, obey, and lift my hands. The work is done, the table set. Your Sabbath peace I won't forget. I breathe it in, I let it flow. A glimpse of what's to come, I know. Shabbat shalom, a time of peace, a quarter sign that will not cease. I lay it down, I leave it all, and in your presence I stand tall. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest from evening light. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. No buying, selling, just pure delight in Yahuwah's rest for hearts set free. From week to week, this truth remains, a day of joy and touched by chains. Oh Yahuwah, my King, my rest, in your Sabbath I am blessed.
Shabbat Shalom, family. My name is Jason.
I'm Kid.
I'm Jade.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Eli.
And we are the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. And I see a lot of beautiful, beautiful family out there. And I cannot thank you guys enough for joining us in this little itty bitty tiny ecclesia out in the middle of the jungles around a little tiny brown table as we sit and glorify our Elohim Most High, his beautiful son and his magnificent word, which we call the Torah. Thank you guys so much for being a part of us in this world and for loving our Creator and loving his ways. For those who have never been a part of any one of these readings that we do, we are just a little tiny family that's sitting out in the middle of the jungles that is reading scriptures. And we love our scriptures. We have no religion affiliation. And in fact, we always tell people that they should not be part of a religious affiliation. The thing about the Torah life is the Torah life is part of a life. It's not a religious system. It's a way of living. It's a way forward. It's good knowledge. It is good understanding. And it is what our beautiful Creator has given to all of us to sustain us. It is literally the bread of life. And if we embrace the Torah, if we walk in the Torah, we become different people. We become a part of a little itty bitty tiny remnant. And this remnant is something that is very, very small in amounts of people of this world. My guess is probably there's less than 1% of the overall world population that is Torah keepers at this point. We live in a little country of 3 or 4 million people, and there's no Torah keepers. There's all these other religious systems, and everybody is worshiping on the first day. Everybody has their way forward, but nobody is interested in the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of our Creator. And when you look at this religious system and all these magnificent churches all over the world and all these missionaries that are going all over, knocking on doors, telling people how to be saved, teaching people the ways of salvation, teaching people the Romans road to Christ. Inside of these religious systems, they are nothing but cults. When you are contrary to what the scriptures say, then unfortunately you have been indoctrinated into a cult. And many of us have come out of a religious system. Many of us have had our eyes opened by the hand of our Creator that has given us eyes to see and ears to hear. And if you guys are Torah keepers, if you guys see the value of the Torah of our Creator, be thankful that our Creator has reached out to you and has opened your eyes to an amazing part of this world. And guys, we can't thank you enough for being a part of this. All of you guys are family to us. We love you guys very, very much. And Cade, will you please open us up in prayer?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your Shabbat and your Torah and bringing us back together, all once again as a family, united, seeking to better ourselves and advance ourselves in your kingdom to come and advance ourselves in your word and the things you have told us thousands of years ago to keep to today. And we ask that you remember us when the time of trials and tribulations come, that we are your people, that we are the people that you have chosen and called out from among the nations. We thank you for all in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right. Jade, will you please give us our Shema? And before we do, guys, let's talk very much about what the Shema is. And for anybody that's looking for a title of a group, if you want to be part of a so-called religious system, you would want to be a part of Yisrael, right? Inside of scriptures, we don't hear things like house of Christian, house of Hindu, house of you name it, whatever the 400,000 different religions are out there. You only hear about the house of Yisrael and the house of Yehuda. So the question would become is, how would I join one of these groups? How would I be considered a person, a member of the house of Yisrael? Well, when you start reading scriptures and you go from the very beginning to all the way to the very end, as well as the Apocrypha, it's very clear that obedience is the key. It's obedience to what our Creator has said to do. And this particular verse right here is called the Shema. It means hear and obey. Jade, please give us what we need to hear and obey.
Hear, O Yisrael, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah is one. And you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your might. And these words I am commanding you today shall be in your heart, and you shall impress them upon your children, and shall speak of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. And you shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes, and you shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
So we have a very amazing, very important set of verses right here that talk about what we are supposed to do with this Torah. Well, it's not supposed to be something that we just read and disregard. It's not something that we just learn and don't apply to our lives. This is the power of life right here. These are the words of wisdom that we are told to live by. And they're supposed to be something that as we get up every single morning, we are thinking them, we are considering them, we are wondering, are we able to walk this a little bit better than the day that we walked before? Are we able to make it a part of our life more than the day before? Are we able to work with our families? Are we able to minister to those out there? What is this about the Torah? It's that it is every last aspect of our life. And when you make it every last aspect of your life, you write it on your heart, you impress it upon your children, you speak of it. When we're sitting in our house, when we're walking by the way, and when we lie down, when we rise up, and we bind them as a sign on our hand, and we have them as frontlets between our eyes. What that means is we don't attack this world without looking through the lens of the Torah. Every single thing that we do not make a business decision, family decision, life decision, or even wake up in the morning without us having the lens of the Torah be a part of our lives. And so, greetings to everybody out there. Miss Nicole, will you please give our brothers and sisters a huge shout out?
All right, we have Jerry and Dolly, Annalie, Sue, Gina. We have Brandy and her father-in-law, Danny Boy. We have Torah, Tea Time, Pam, Sarah and William, Yeshayahu, Candy and Ruby, Loving Yah, Jeremy and Callan, Crystal, Jeannie Not of This World, Rose P. I think that's a new name, so welcome to you. The Judge, Daughter of Abraham, Richie James, Obi Lines, Chris, still scrolling here, Sylvia, and John 3:16, and I think that's everybody.
We say hi to.
Joanna.
We also the Danny Boy. You said hi, Danny Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure that Danny Boy is represented out there. I know he is not at a computer and have anything, but shouts to all of you guys out there.
And Yokon and Pam's husband.
Oh, and Yokon. Yes. So shouts to our family. We love you guys dearly. It is an amazing little tiny meeting, right? And we live in this churchianity world where everybody goes to their big churches, the 501c3s, as everybody is sitting there learning something that is incorrect doctrine. And it was never meant to be like this, right? We were supposed to gather together in little tiny ecclesias, little tiny readings, places that we didn't have to walk great distances, places we didn't have to kindle our fire to get to, right? And so here we are in a technological age, which is a spooky age. It is definitely coming to the end of close to the end of this age. And it's something that we're using the technology that is out there for the benefit of the kingdom people. And so shout out to everyone.
I have more that came in after that. Daughter of Yah, Curtis, Gail, John Dudley, and the Grand.
All right. Wow. This is a full house today. We love you guys. To everybody that joins later, which again, the majority of the people come across the day and tomorrow, much love to all of you. Now, what we are going to be doing is something that is tremendous. It is something stupendous. It is something that is amazing. And, I saw Sue Smith in here. She was talking about the people that are Torah keepers. She was quoting from 2nd Ezra. And 2nd Ezra, when Ezra was sitting there, trying to get the secrets of the kingdom, when he was trying to figure out things, the people that are saved were compared to a drop of water versus a wave. And when you think about things like this, it's very, very spooky. And you have the Christians, part of their doctrine is the book of Matthew. And I love to quote out of Matthew 7, because Matthew 7 tells us so many things. Two huge important pieces of Matthew 7 talk about a little gate. And a lot of people make it through this gate. But then there is a wide path of destruction, and our Messiah very clearly says most people don't make it. But yet the Christians think that there's 3 billion people saved. They will even tell you that salvation cannot be snatched out of our Father's hand. Very clearly down below in the same chapter, Matthew 7, Messiah Yahushua says the lawless people can depart from him. Lawless people, what in the world could that mean? Well, these are the people that think they know him. They've worked miracles in his name. They have probably done all sorts of ministering in his name. But yet there is no focus on the laws of his Father. There has to be a understanding that there is something before Messiah Yahushua, and that was called the laws of our Creator. It is because we have fallen from the Torah that our Messiah had to come to redeem us. And so if you're just looking for redemption without understanding why he had to come redeem us, then that would make you lawless. And so this is our focus, is to always try to get the laws and statutes and commandments into the hearts, minds, and souls of the remnant. The little itty bitty tiny drop of water compared to that big old wave of sinners and people that have rejected the kingdom, rejected our Creator, his Son, and they will be told to depart from him. So what we're doing right now is the same thing they did back in the days, during the days of Ezra and Nehemiah, when they came out of Babylon and they didn't know the Torah. They were still part of this group of Babylonians. They carried out all of this crazy understandings and religious system. And then we had Ezra and Nehemiah, and these guys were some strong advocates for the Torah, strong advocates for the kingdom. and they sat and they would read this same Torah right here with the people, and the people rejoiced, and the people wept, and the people turned from their wicked ways. And this is what we need to do. Now, a lot of people out there, you tell them you're a Torah keeper, they'll laugh at you. They'll go, oh, you don't sin, huh? Or you don't think you can sin? And for those of us who live in this Torah world, that's how we know that we do sin, is by knowing this Torah. That's how we know that we have fallen from grace and fallen from the way forward, is because we have gone against the laws, statutes, and commandments. But the Christians, they have 10 commandments, right? They say they keep the 10 commandments, but yet they fall away at the 4th commandment, which is to keep the Shabbat. Nobody's worshiping on a 7th day. Everybody's worshiping on whatever day they feel like it is the best day possible. And we live in cycles of 7s and 50s. From the first day of creation, first 6 days, the 7th day was a Shabbat. And we roll in these cycles of 7s and 50s all through this. And our Creator has given us an amazing calendar. He has given us an amazing timeline. And this is our day of worship. This is a gift to mankind to recharge ourselves, recharge our families, to learn scriptures, to just forget about the rest of the world, forget about the buying and selling, forget about any of the struggles that we have in the day-to-day weeks, and keep a holy day, a Kodesh day, a day that is sanctified to our Creator, and it is set apart. And when you read through scriptures, there is only one day that is blessed in this week, that is blessed more than any others. And so if you want to take the blessings of this day and receive the blessings in your life, in your family's life, which is an incredible spiritual thing, but it's also a physical thing, right? As you guys walk and you rest on this day, your bodies become very attuned to this day. Like you will grind 24/6, but yet on sunset of the day before, and I know a lot of you guys keep it on sunrise to sunrise. I understand there is conflict in a lot of this. For us and our family, we keep it at sunset to sunset, but our bodies become attuned to this, and we become stronger people. We become wiser people, and this is what the kingdom is all about. People that are willing to understand these laws, walk them, and love them. And so we are about to read the most wondrous things that mankind has been given. And yes, I understand Messiah Yahushua is absolutely stupendous, wondrous, but we had a set of laws, statutes, and commandments that is going to be the governing agent of our Messiah. This is the kingdom to come. When we walk the kingdom to come, when we make it to the kingdom to come, Yah willing, this is going to be the rules and regulations. The 7th-day Sabbath is going to be kept. All the appointed times are going to be kept. We are in a rehearsal right now to see if we are candidates of the kingdom to come. So let us begin into this beautiful Torah commands. If you guys have any kind of questions, if you guys have any kind of comments, this is where we sit and we chit chat with all of you guys. And it's an amazing time right here. I really, really, really enjoy this time with all of you guys out there. So these are the Torah commands, and I will break in as I see fit. And if you guys want to break in as you guys see fit, then as a little tiny family, we can certainly discuss all of these and have a good time as we do this. So commandment number 1, which is just a fantastic commandment. In fact, the first 2 commandments are commandments of that people are breaking all the time, right? Be fruitful and multiply. And being fruitful is something that we're not meant to be lounge lizards. We're not meant to be stuck on a couch watching live vision programming, ruining our heart, mind, and soul as we have an infusion of this great demonic activity that is plagued the world. And then multiplying is a commandment that we as a society, especially North America, North America has killed off more of its population. We're only like 30 million people in North America, and since Roe versus Wade, right now we would be hundreds of millions of people had we not offered all our children up to Moloch. And this is what it is, right? The abortion tables of the world are simple sacrificial tables. We strap our women into these stainless steel plates, and then we kill off their kids, and it is a satanic thing. And they've gone even further because Big Pharma will give you an overnight pill, right? You don't have to even go see the doctor. If you can kill that kid prior to this, then here we are. when in fact those of us who have had kids, those of us who have enjoyed a family, understand the blessings of a family, understand the beauty of creation and multiplying. And so guys, the very first two commands that we have is be fruitful and multiply.
Number 3, replenish the earth. Subdue it, have dominion over the fish, fowl, and every living creature.
The herb bearing and every tree is for food.
Man and woman should build their own families.
Master sin. Every clean, moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Let's go back to Master Sin, right? Let's talk a little bit about the Christians and Pam at Torah Time Tea. Guys, what you're hearing is you are hearing a tin roof out in the middle of the jungle. It's actually not raining. This is our roof talking to us and beating on the tin drums. As the sun comes out and bakes on top of our little tin roof, it sounds like little drummer boys popping around. Now, Master Sin, let's talk about the premise of the Christian religion. Guys, what does the Christian religion tell us about sin?
It's on the cross.
It's on the cross. They've nailed this to the cross, right? What else do they tell us about sin in the Christian religion?
Raise your hand once to 8 years old and base you're sinless forever.
Yeah, you're sinless, and you can never ever have salvation ripped out of your Father's hand. But yet, very clearly in Scriptures, there's been a lot of people that have lost their salvation. And so when we are talking about mastering sin, this is something that, you know, when you become a master of something, be it a wood crafter, a metal crafter, a homemaker, right? You can master homemaking to where you dial this in and you're mastering all this stuff. When you master this, you become a leader of it. You become something that you can't get owned. Those who become master wood crafters, they are beautifying stuff. And what they learned along that way is something that they can never ever have taken away from them. And so as we are trying to master sin, the very first thing that we have to do when we are trying to master sin is we have to learn what sin is. And that's the problem with this religious system. When you have no value with the Torah at all, when the Torah means nothing to you, it's literally been fulfilled. All food has been made clean. All of these crazy things that this religious system and traditions of men have told us, it's something that we're not mastering it. To master sin, we have to learn this, and this is why we go over these Torah commands every Shabbat. This is why the Yah Scriptures app, which I'm very happy to tell you guys about, the Yah Scriptures digital app in the Apple and the Android store has lapped our hard books. All the books that we have, it has gone over. It hasn't lapped it yet, but it has gone farther and further than what the Big Blue Book has been done, which is a cause to praise Yah. We're not here to sell books. What we're here to do is to sell the Torah. We're here to sell the kingdom. We're here to sell this. And that's the thing, there's no money in it, right? Our Creator has given us all these words, all these instructions, all this stuff for absolutely free. He sent His Son, and He did not charge us, right? Messiah Yahushua should have a charge to Him, that He should be charging us for this greatness that He has. But yet, all of this, if we are obedient, if we are loyal, if we are those kind of people, is absolutely free of charge. And so, Ms. Nicole, at some point, will you please pop? You already popped in there? Okay. Yeah, and so, guys, this same Torah commands that we are reading right here, which I would strongly encourage you guys to pop up every single morning and just brush through them. It'll take you about 10 minutes. And at some point, pretty soon, you will know these by heart, so that when the adversary comes at you, you will not fall. You will not be a part of his prey, because you will know the Torah commands. And that's what this kingdom is going to be built on, are these Torah commands. Continuing on, every clean, moving thing that lives shall be food for you.
Do not eat the blood.
Walk before me and be perfect. Guard Yahuwah's covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments.
Guys, look at the size of this. Guys, look at the size of this. These reiterations of the same verse. Over 53 times in 5 books alone are we told that we need to guard the covenant, laws, statutes, and commandments. There is no greater command list. It doesn't exist, right? For all these other Torah commands that we have, we only have like 2 or 3 verses in this. When we are told to guard the covenant, the laws, the statutes, and commandments, it's over and over and over. Look at this bad boy. This is something to consider. Why have we been told over and over and over and over? Well, it's because this is very important. We live in this day and age where nobody loves the laws. Nobody cares about the laws. There's no value on these laws. But yet the remnant, the small little portion of us that have decided to dedicate our lives to the walk of the Torah, to the walk of Elohim Most High, and to the walk of Messiah Yahushua, this is our commands. These are our rules and regulations, and they are beautiful. There is not a single command that you can find that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make a world of difference. And in the kingdom to come, it's going to be a good world. Imagine a world where we don't have the witchcraft, where we don't have evil, we don't have people ripping us off all the time, that everybody walks the Torah. That's the world that all of us are looking forward to, and why I always say at the end of these that I can't wait to high five you all at the end and say, you know what, congratulations, Remnant, congratulations, beautiful people, we did it. We were able to make this, and our Creator has accepted us. And that's the best that we can hope for, is that we are accepted by our Creator and His Son. Continuing on, every male shall be circumcised at 8 days old.
Teach your children the commands and guard the way of Yahuwah.
Remember Yahuwah's name for all generations. Keep the Passover, Pesach.
Keep the feast of unleavened bread, festival of matzah.
There was one Torah for the stranger and the Hebrew.
Guys, look at that, right? It doesn't matter what religion you guys have come from. It doesn't matter your understanding of this world. If you want to join the kingdom people, the tribes of Yisrael and Yehuda, which encompasses all 12 tribes, there's only one law. There's only one set of laws. And I'm not saying there's only one law, because that sounds like a Christian right there. There's only one set of laws, and it's in the first 5 books of Scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And if you want to be a part of this kingdom people, these are the laws for all of us. And there's only one Torah. So all of these other outsiders that come up with Talmuds and Zohars and Kabbalahs and Books of Mormon and all these other corrupted texts, that's not it, right? We only have one set of laws. And so when we come to the kingdom people, the first 5 books are it.
Sanctify all firstborn to Yahuwah. There are no mighty ones before Yahuwah.
You shall not make graven images.
Do not bring Yahuwah's name to naught. Keep the Shabbat, Sabbath.
And that's a big one too, guys. Look at that. That one, when you compare this to the rest of the commandments out there, the Sabbath day is an important day. Very, very important people. This is an appointed time. This is something that we are told to keep, and it's something that those of us who have had to fail on this before, you very much understand that your weeks are long. Without a Shabbat, nothing is the same, right? Stress is higher. Everything is a little bit higher when we don't keep the Shabbat. Continuing on to one of my favorite ones, honor your parents.
Do not kill. Do not break wedlock.
Do not steal.
Do not make false accusations against your neighbor. Do not covet anything of your neighbor's.
Do not make an altar from rock that which was touched.
Do not go up the altar by the steps. If a man steals cattle, you shall restore it 5 times.
Yahuwah's laws for criminals.
Do not lie with beasts. No sacrifices to other Elohim.
Do not oppress a stranger, fatherless, or widow.
Do not charge your brother interest. If you borrow your neighbor's raiment, return to him before sunset.
Do not curse the rulers of your people.
Do not eat what is torn of any beast.
And no false report. Do not follow multitude of evil.
Do not judge righteously against the poor. Bring back your enemy's cattle if you find it going astray.
Help the animals of your enemy.
Stay away from rumors and gossipers. Take no bribes.
Do not oppress a stranger. Love the stranger.
Give your land rest in the 7th year.
Do not mention any pagan names. Keep the feast of Yahuwah.
Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Okay, let's talk about this real quick, right? Keep the feast of Yahuwah. There was a huge argument this week that I had with somebody who they were not happy that I was going off on Christmas, and they said, well, we have Kislev, I guess is what they call it, and Kislev is Hanukkah. And I told them, I said, I don't find anything in the Torah that tells us to celebrate Hanukkah. And it became a huge dispute, a huge thing. And there is something to understand that all of these things, and they referred to our Messiah walking in the Temple of Solomon during when Hanukkah was going on. And I very clearly says, this does not say our Messiah was celebrating it. He may have or he may not have. But when we are looking at beautifying the words of the Torah, we don't have an appointed time. We know of Passover. We know of Sukkot. We know of the Feast of Trumpets. We know of various appointed times that we have been told to keep on, and the days that we are told to keep. The problem with celebrating Hanukkah during the world of Saturnalia is that you are doing what the pagans have done. Now, all of Christmas wasn't even a thing, and it came from Romans, and it came around the 19th and the 20th, or 18th and 19th, and it was a 2-day gig to begin with. Then they put it out to a 5-day gig. And then you have all of this. Basically, everybody is worshiping Saturn. And it all comes down to Apollo worship. It all comes down to fake deities. And our Messiah was not born in December. And the first thing that people say is, well, I'm just doing it for him. And, well, that's doing what we want to do in our own eyes. And so, the same people that want to keep Hanukkah are also keeping Purim. And as much as this is a celebration, this is not what is in Scriptures. We are not told this is an appointed time. So if you're not keeping Hanukkah, well, I don't think you're going to be judged for it, because we don't actually have a precedent. Then they bring up the Maccabees. They're like, well, this was a celebration after the Maccabees did what they did. And I'm like, well, the Maccabees also brought back sacrifices and temple stuff, and they weren't exactly the ordained people. They were not the people that were doing this the proper way. And so, guys, we need to align our lives to this. If you're celebrating an 8-day or 7-day Hanukkah, whatever it is, during the same time that they're keeping Saturnalia, you're doing what the pagans have done. And I'm sorry if that offends you guys. I'm sorry if that breaks your hearts. This is the way that I see it. And I don't see that we should be doing what everyone else does at the exact same time that everybody else is doing this. More than likely, according to what we can find, our Messiah was born September 11th-ish, right? The same time they did 9/11 to put all the eyes on 9/11 for, they're detonating the buildings and knocking the buildings down. This is when more than likely our Messiah was born. More than likely around the Feast of Trumpets, when people are blowing their shofars, is more than likely when it was. That's just my 2 cents on that. But it's something that I think that all of us should understand, is that Hanukkah is not an appointed time. This is something that comes out of the Judaism. It comes out of the something that we've never been told to do. So, do you have something?
Yes, so Curtis says, why do Torah channels say people that don't keep the commandments or missing the mark on all the commands, don't worry, they will be called least in the kingdom?
Well, that's what it says. It actually says that in there. What book does that come out of, guys? Matthew or Luke?
That's Matthew.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's literally what it says in Scriptures. And that is not a sin to win card, right? That is not one of these things that, you don't have to keep the commandments or something of the sort. We are called to keep all of the commandments, and every single commandment is good. Say, for instance, you decide that you don't want to keep all of them, and you start drinking blood or eating fat, things of this nature, right? That's going to defile our temples. That's going to make us abominable in the eyes of our Creator. Those who are eating pig, pork, all that kind of stuff like this makes us abominable. The actual verse is that, it's not talking about doing the commands, it's talking about teaching others to do the commands. Somebody pull it up, will you? That actual thing. Jade, Eli, anyone? Okay, pull it up as we're sitting here. We'll go over that.
Abraham wants to know, does birth control violate Torah?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not being. You're number one. It's something that is. I believe it's an abomination to our Creator. Right. We are told to multiply. Right. When you are taking birth control, not only you're changing your hormones up, you're doing all sorts of crazy stuff. But I mean, you're absolutely not part of multiplying. And so that would insinuate taking birth control is that you are promiscuous. And if you are promiscuous, that means that you're already in violation of violating your temple. And so, especially if you're not married, right? That's, if you're taking birth control pills, that would lead one to believe that you are awaiting the one-night stand or awaiting some sort of stand of that nature. Anyone get this?
Matthew 5:19.
Okay, read that for us. Somebody. Matthew 5:19. Eli. Okay, hold on. We're getting Matthew 5:19 right here.
All right, here we are. Whoever then breaks one of these of the least of the commands, and teaches men so, shall be called the least of the reign of the Shemaim. But whoever does and teaches them, he shall be called great in the reign of the Shemaim.
Okay, so this is a two-part little thing, right? This is whoever is not doing the commands right. But this isn't talking about voluntarily doing them. Read that one more time.
Whoever then breaks one of the least of these commands and teaches men so shall be called least in the written Shemaim.
So if you are breaking this, there's this bathrobe Bob guy that we like to make fun of because he's like one of these. He's a straight loser, and I'm sorry to have to say it like this, but this guy teaches people they don't need to keep the appointed times. He tells people he doesn't need to keep the Torah, and he has a fairly big following that is out there. And to me, that makes somebody a complete loser. So when you're teaching people you don't need to keep the appointed times, when you're teaching people you don't need to do these commandments, you're going to be very lucky to even make the kingdom to begin with. But I think guys like Bathrobe Bob is going to get smoted because it's not like a simple thing like, oh, you can eat your steaks medium rare, and that's not what it's talking about, blood or something of the sort, right? We're talking a small violation. And we're talking any of these commands, the least of these commands. And, there's some that are heavier than other commands, but this is something that is not a voluntary thing. If you are out there and you are a lawless individual teaching others to be lawless, it's not a good thing. Judgment Day is not going to be good for you, and it's doubtful you will ever make the kingdom at all if you are a lawless individual. Okay, did we have anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Sister Barb, she's got all the goods on the stuff. They extract the, what is that, BC? Mm-hmm. BC hormone from dead animals in most cases. Yeah, it's absolutely goes against, it goes against your temple, right? I mean, you're not supposed to shut down your egg production and do all this kind of crazy stuff. And we live in a complete world where there's zero value on our children. There's no value on giving birth or even having kids anymore, right? It's like they did back in the days, right? Where they made their women drink the stuff where they thought a pregnant woman or a woman that had kids was like abominable or not as hot as one of the women that never ever had kids, because they kept their sleek little forms, but yet they don't realize that is an abomination. You look at the commandments and the order that we have, right? Be fruitful and multiply. These commandments could have been in whatever order our Creator wanted us to have them, and from the top of the list is to multiply. And if we are literally living in a world where that is not happening right now. You look at birth rates across the world, and this decade has been a slow kill. It has been something that is it is an absolute abomination what the powers that be have done to humanity in this decade. Okay, let's continue on, gents. Do not cook your goat in his mother's milk.
Obey the messenger Yahuwah sends before you.
Do not bow down to other Elohim.
Serve Yahuwah.
Make no covenant with other Elohim or outsiders of the land.
Do not make or use this anointing oil on an old person. Do not make use of perfume on an old person.
Do not eat the fat.
Do what you say you are going to do.
Return what is your neighbor's.
Obey Yahuwah's dietary laws. Live in time of separation.
And guys, the dietary laws will protect your temple, right? The dietary laws are not there so you can't have your sweet little Piggly Wiggly and your bacon, your carcinogen bacon and all this nastiness that they have and all this stuff, right? It was crazy because I was catching an episode of Duck Dynasty. And Duck Dynasty is one of those shows that is, it's a lot like Little House on the Prairie, right? Everybody looks at it as, oh, these guys are all... they're children of God. These people are all in the best interest of our Creator. Yet these people were out there taking in crawfish, taking in catfish, eating squirrels, frogs. They were taking frogs. All of these things, and yet they were going to a church, right? They were going to a cirque, and they were running a ministry there, and everybody is like, oh man, these people are so godly. Look at these people. Yet they didn't understand the scriptures, right? They don't understand what cling food is or what even is considered food, right? Frog's not considered food to us. We're not supposed to eat those things. We're not supposed to eat catfish. We're not supposed to eat horses, pigs. All of these things are not considered food for us. So we need to make sure that we understand what the dietary laws are. If you guys have never slowly read Leviticus 11, I would strongly urge you guys to read that and make sure that you're not destroying your temple. There's no reason that we ever need to put these janitors of the earth that are discussing hormone pus pockets into our mouth and think that something like shrimp or lobster is a good thing. These are all janitors. They all clean up the dead. They all eat dead. When you eat stuff like a cow, it's got 4 different stomachs. It eats grass. It doesn't eat like the carcass of its dying young or some sort of carcass, right? There's different things that are considered food that we are told to eat and things that we are not considered to eat. So as Yah's people, as a remnant, we need to get our health back. We need to start eating right. Stop eating this processed food. Stop eating this endless flours and endless carbohydrates and all this sugars and all this poisons, right? Back in the days when we had this stuff, they didn't have granules of sugar like this, right? They have stuff like honey, honeycomb, all of these things that are good for us, but yet today, sugar is a poison. It poisons our bodies. Every bite of Skittles that you have, every M&M that you have, makes us dumber by design. It makes us sicker by design. We get fat. We get unhealthy. 40% of Americans have diabetes. Like 60% have pre-diabetes. You can have pre-diabetes for 10 to 15 years before it's full on effect, right? We're not supposed to be having insulin resistance and having our insulin just rise up like it is. We are told to be temples of the Most High, and it's very, very important that we take care of ourselves and understand the dietary laws. Okay, did you have anything, Ms. Nicole?
Daughter of Abraham had a question. What type of perfume is Scripture referring to?
What kind of perfume? Oh, that's a temple perfume. That was I think if you're talking about the commands, do not use this perfume or anointing oil on anyone else. Those were concoctions. Those were recipes that were given to the Levites to make things smell really, really good, and we're not supposed to use those. And I think all perfumes probably came from the fallen technology, right? We didn't know any of this stuff until we had Aziel and all the various different fallen angels that came and gave us all of these things. And so, I don't. There's no laws that say we shouldn't be wearing perfume or anything of the sort, but those particular perfumes, the concoctions, the recipes that are in Torah, were not to recreate and make on us. Okay. Does beef tallow come? That's funny you mentioned this. Does beef tallow come from internal fat, though? That is not allowed. They put organ fat in all kinds of food, and they call it diglycerides. Okay, thank you, Ms. Nicole. That's interesting because we have one of the most dangerous things ever are these vegetable oils, right? We should never ever be using vegetable oil or any of these so-called things. The problem is it's not so much the seeds that they put into this, and when it says vegetable oil, there's no vegetable oil at all. What they do, they take a whole bunch of seeds and they process them out, and then they put a set of chemicals in there to bleach them, to make them all the same color. Then they put some anti-stink chemicals in there to make them so they don't reek. And by the time you get them, they are extremely dangerous for us. Like a bag of French fries, any of that stuff that is cooked out there, it is absolutely very, very bad. And we've been on the health train trying to get people to change their ways and stop buying boxed food. Just start buying healthy food and start fasting. Buy like lots of fasting, right? I mean, we don't need more than one meal a day. It's just we've turned this into a breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks in between. And by the time we're done, we're all diabetic-ridden, sick people. And so beef tallow is one of the things that we were just talking about. Nicole and I were talking about because, I guess the answer is we don't know exactly. Ms. Nicole, what did you have with that?
Well, I was just going to say, Sister Barb had a comment.
Okay, sorry guys, our dog just took off, so we're going to keep working through this as our dogs. Mrs. Tacos, I just recently gave up pork, and it is hard. Yeah, it is hard when you first give it up. Stick with it, because it is something that very, very soon it will become something very disgusting, right? It'll be something like, ooh, nasty, right? We see that, we smell people, and the pig literally makes us sick smelling, right? We see pigs, we see all these people eating pork, and they enjoy it and they love it, and it's bad. Please take care of the dogs, Eli. Okay.
No, we don't have a dog named Mystical.
No.
Sorry. So Sister Barb said the blood is concentrated in the body in the Mulderry cavity of the bone, and the red cells are produced there. Therefore, any bone tallow or soup is full of what leaks into the hot liquid. So I don't know exactly what she's saying there. If like making the bone tallow would be like eating the fat or the blood, or what exactly is she saying there?
Yeah, I don't know.
What
Yeah.
type of oil do you recommend?
Olive oil.
Olive oil,
Extra
avocado
virgin
oil,
olive oil. And where else?
avocado oil,
Avocado oil.
coconut oil too.
Coconut oil, yep. And so those are the kinds of oils. Eli, please wake up and help us with the dogs.
So
Over
Sister
here.
Barbara's saying that there's blood cells in the beef tallow.
Okay. And that makes sense because we were trying to figure out if we could boil down the fat of a like a steak and use it for oil for cooking and the beef tallow. And we couldn't come up with an answer for that. And the answer is probably no.
Yes, Yahoo says butter as well.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Mystical is not, yeah, that probably does sound like mystical, yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's Mrs. Nicole, Ms. Nicole, I call her. Yeah, it's not mystical. No, we don't have a dog named. All of our dogs are named after something, but it's not like that. So it's like we have biblical dogs' names. In fact, we had like 20 cows one time that we named after all the Bible characters, and they all ended up dying. So we stopped naming things after Bible characters. Okay, did we answer all that? Joanna said perfume, cologne in general named after helly, weird celebrities, demons. Yeah, there's all sorts of freaky people out there, right? I mean, I would strongly suggest not using things like this, right? I mean, all these people, I mean, I remember back in the day there was like bobcat urine inside of some of the heavier perfumes and some of the stuff, and you know, that's not going to make yourself cling, right? I mean, you might smell pretty or something of the sort, but I don't know about putting bobcat urine on yourself. It sounds kind of jacked up to me.
Crystal has a question. Do you believe organic oil is truly organic?
Ooh, I don't believe anything anymore, honestly. We know that the organic farmers all were sold out, and you know, we know that all, you know, there's a lot of big companies that bought the organic people and they snuck all their trash in. I don't trust anything really that says organic anymore because, you know, it's been very much proven that, you know, they're just all a whole bunch of doctors of demons that are trying to make us very, very sick. And so, you know, the best place to go that, you know, for organics is your local farms, right? From farm to table, find something, you know, if you want beef, all of the meat now is completely owned, right? There's video. It's lab grade meat. I was watching one the other day of this butcher guy. He just got like a $30, $40 sirloin, and he was looking at it. And he's like, it's like glued together, and he was like cutting it up, and he's like, he was a butcher all his life, and he's like, I have never seen anything like this. They took it all and they dumped it in the trash, and then they went to a local cow place, right, a local farm, and they brought back and they showed us exactly the difference between it. So now we have, you know, psychopaths like Billy Bob Gates and all of these elitists, and they want us eating bugs, and they want us eating all these unclean foods and all this other stuff. Kate, please go get the dogs. And so we got to make sure that we are keeping our temples as close to clean as possible. And in this day and age, it's really, really hard because there is a tremendous amount of deception everywhere. Yeah, grow your own if you possibly can. Yeah, they like Sue Smith says, they 3D print it, homemade butter, made fresher yesterday. Yeah, and if you guys can find any, you know, one of the greatest, healthiest things, and we're not supposed to be drinking milk per se as adults. It's just not something good that we should be drinking. But skim milk isn't even milk. It's not even a such a thing, right? The milk you get in the store, when they pasteurize it, it's not healthy for you. There's no thing. So if you can go and go find a local farmer and you can get, you know, a gallon of milk, take off the top of that, and then get a little mason jar, screw on the lid, and just shake the snot out of that thing, you will end up with very, very good butter. Throw a little bit of salt in there, and you can make your own homemade butter. You don't need any kind of real equipment. You just need like a good arm, and you can sit there and shake the heck out of it till butter emerges. We've done that before, and it was really super cool butter. You can also get some kitchen utensils, like what do you call that thing you could do it with? Your immersion blender, you could do it, right? Make butter.
Or the blender.
Blender, yeah, just you can make it out with just a regular mixer. Goat's milk is good for you. Let's see. Yeah, all this kosher stuff, it's real sketchy, right? I mean, they you know, to make something kosher, right? You have a rabbi come and bless your food or something of the sort, right? And they will take, you know, I've seen these rabbis blessing this stuff inside of dirty dirty, Gentile ways, and then they come out and they say it's kosher. So none of that stuff is to be believed, and so you got to be very, 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 very astute in your learning and all of these things. Okay, let us get back into this. We're getting out in the weeds here quite a bit. But that's okay. We like the weeds. And so, guys, keep the weeds coming. We will keep rolling. Women's time of separation. Lots of rules, regulations for them. They take care of them. Let them be. Let them go through their cycle times by themselves. Okay. Next.
Obey Yahuwah's hygiene laws.
Keep the Day of Atonement, Yom HaKippurim.
Do not uncover the nakedness of your family.
Do not take your woman's sister for wife.
Do not lie with a woman in her uncleanness.
You shall not sacrifice your children to Molech, right? This is what we live in today, right? We love sacrificing our children to Moloch. And it may not be the same as sticking your little baby in the arms of some fire-breathing dragon, but when you are killing off your kids with, birth control, with abortions, with overnight pills, with whatever else it is, that is the devil just laughing it up and being a part of this. Continuing on, do not be a sodomite.
Be Kodesh.
Do not reap the corners of your field, or you shall not glean your vineyard.
Do not deal falsely or defraud your neighbor.
Do not lie or be a liar.
Pay your workers for the day's wage they are due.
Do not harm the disabled.
Do not endanger your neighbor.
Do not hate your brother.
Rebuke your neighbor for his sin.
Love your neighbor as yourself.
Do not diverse your cattle.
Do not mingle your seed.
Do not mingle linen and wool.
Do not lie with a taken woman.
Do not eat the fruit of the trees for 3 years.
Do not practice sorcery.
Do not round your beard or the corners of your head.
Do not cut yourself for the dead.
Do not get tattoos.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not defile your temple.
Do not consult the medium.
Respect your elders.
Have correct weights and measures.
Do not walk in the manners of the nation.
Keep the Feast of First Fruits, Shavuot, Omer Count, Pentecost.
Keep the Feast of Trumpets, Yom Teruah.
Keep the Feast of Sukkot, Shemini Atzeret.
If you
See, got to break in real quick, right? We have all the feasts, right? We have things like keep this feast, keep this feast, keep this feast. You don't have anything of Hanukkah, right? There's no such thing in here. And so when you are celebrating Hanukkah, and I understand there's a lot of traditions. We all get stuck up on these traditions, but we don't have a command to say this, which means we are walking in the ways of another religion, right? Judaism, for example. That is a Hanukkah keeping thing. Those are the guys that keep Purim. And I understand that we get these traditions of men and how we get them. But if we were meant to keep a 5 or 6, I don't even know how many days Hanukkah is. If we were meant to keep like a 7-day thing, we would have a commandment here, right? And just like this, keep the Feast of Sukkot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different verses right here reiterating the commands that we need to keep. And so this is a time that we need to get right with our Creator and make sure that we're keeping it. In the kingdom to come, if we're meant to keep Hanukkah, our Messiah will teach us how to do this and do it properly, and it will become a command of the Shamayim. We don't have such a command right now. If you blaspheme the name of Yahuwah, you shall be put to death.
If you kill your neighbor's animal, you must give him another. Repay injury for injury.
Honor the Yovel, Jubilee year.
Confess your sins to Yahuwah and repay you have trespassed against.
The Torah of being Nazir.
Wear easy on the 4 corners of your garments. The law of whoever touches a corpse.
Follow Yahuwah's Torah of inheritance.
The law of keeping your oath to Yahuwah. Do not add or take away from the word.
Huge thing. I like to reiterate on this, guys. Do not add, do not take away from the word. The Christian religion will have all of this, right? Sunday keeping, right? Sunday Sabbath keeping. That is adding to the word, and it's also taking away from the word. You're breaking two parts of this commandment all in one. All food has been made clean, right? You're breaking a tremendous amount of laws. When you sit there and eat unclean food and you laugh and scoff at it, your body gets sicker and sicker and sicker, and the joke is on those who are unwilling to break away from the unclean food, right? A pig is a scavenger. A pig will eat corpses. They'll eat their babies. They'll eat the dead. They'll eat all sorts of stuff. They do not sweat like normal animals. They are disgusting creatures, and they're full. Why people die of salmonella all the time. They die of all these worms and bacteria and various things because the food that we are called food doesn't have these kind of things that can live in them. A pig doesn't care that it has 100 different parasites, and the parasites are happy, the pig is happy. It will wallow in its own feces because it's hot. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't have the glands like we have to sweat like we do. And so these are not things that are food. These are things that are janitors, and they're not meant to be eaten. You have something, Miss Nicole?
I do.
Miss Nicole?
Brandy wants to know, what about celebrating birthdays?
You know, that's a huge thing, right? I'll just tell you that we don't have guidance, right? Whether to celebrate a birthday or not. Here in Boss Clan, we don't celebrate a birthday. We will give everybody a high five, a big hug, tell them they're very much appreciated. All our family from outside in the States will still call and message and say happy birthday and things like this. It's just a day, right? I like to celebrate Torah. I like to celebrate our Messiah. I like to celebrate our Creator. You know, it feels like, you know, the way I grew up, right? My mom would have a birthday. I'd have a little crown on my head with cakes and celebrations and all this other stuff, right? I'm a mere creation of our Creator's work. That's it, right? If you want to celebrate a birthday, celebrate our Creator making us, right? That would be the greatest thing. We don't. I know a tremendous amount of people that do. We don't have, you know, much of anything in scriptures that say do or don't. We like to keep our celebrations to, you know, celebrating our Messiah, the one who came and did it and showed us that we can do it as well.
One other question. This is from Loving Yah about defiling our temples. Do piercings count? I know some people who say that since women in the Bible had nose piercings, we should too.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It's in this day and age, man. I wouldn't have anybody jam you with a needle, poke you through. You never know what kind of sickness you're going to get. I know you girls are real frilly and you guys like all your piercings and things of this nature. For me personally, I see the girls with piercings and I'm like, ugh, that's a little rough. Miss Nicole used to have earrings, and I got rid of those in her, and
you didn't get rid of them. I just don't wear them.
She just doesn't wear them because I didn't like them. So I guess call it what you want to call it. But I don't see the beauty of them. I realize that everybody has them, and you know, everybody dudes themselves up. And again, there's no instruction. We don't have any kind of instructions as far as that is. We do know
have one thing where Jacob tells his family to put away all your jewelry, all your gods, and bury it under a tree.
Yeah.
Like they removed like all their earrings and everything.
Yeah, but we also have him where he gave a nose ring to.
Oh yeah, that was his. Elazar gave it to his mother.
Elazar? No, dude.
Rebecca has.
Yeah, Rebecca. Yeah.
Yeah, Rebecca. That's Jacob's mother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm lost here. Okay, sister. Jack Maccabees, these are the people.
Daughter of Abraham says, can you explain John 10:22? Because it's referring to the Feast of Lights, and the book of Maccabees discusses it well. Please kindly clarify.
Again, what is it? What verse? Somebody read it.
John 10:22 is talking about.
Says, at the time the Hanukkah came to be in Jerusalem, and it was winter.
Yeah. So I mean, it is. One more time.
At the time the Hanukkah came to be in Jerusalem, and it was winter.
Yeah, so this is the thing is you have Pharisees and Sadducees, and everybody in this time, they were doing traditions of men. This is why they were washing their hands before they would ever eat, right? This is why they were washing their hands before entering the temple. This is why they were doing all the kinds of things that they were doing, is because they had already been corrupted, far on corrupted. And so you also have Messiah that was walking in Solomon's temple at the time of
it's the exact same verse, next verse below.
Okay, but read that.
And Yehoshua was walking in the Mikdash, in the porch of Shalom. And he was there, and this is where the Pharisees come to him and be like.
And Messiah, it didn't say he was celebrating this, right? He was walking in the temple. So, he was probably observing the stuff, watching all the stuff. I mean, we know that, he flipped the tables over in the temple as well. That were the people that were sitting there selling stuff and buying stuff, and vendors and marketers and all this other stuff that were in there. So he was walking among stuff. I mean, he was observing the stuff, looking at it. It doesn't say that he was doing it. And so, and a lot of people do reject Maccabees as well. I was looking at Brian Honeymoon Stitch. And these guys, I mean, they took back a temple thing. A lot of people will quote Maccabees for a lot of stuff. I think it's a very, very good historical book. I think it is something that is, it's the book of Josephus talks about this, right? And when you're looking at the historian Josephus, who was a major Jew himself, but he this is something of history and something that we should take account for. But I mean, they raised back the temple. They were doing stuff that they were not ordained for, and so that can't be our understanding. And if we just start keeping Hanukkah, because Messiah Yahushua was walking in the temple during Hanukkah, that doesn't say that. We don't have any kind of scriptures that give us an appointed time that says we need to do this. It's all man-made traditions. It's traditions of men. So we just have to get better to where it is. So let's just reading your guys' chat here. Okay, let's get rolling. Okay, guard your soul. Very important thing, right? Your very last breath that you have, you are absolutely going to regret not guarding your soul. Guarding your soul is walking with our Creator and His Son, with the Torah, with the way, the will, and the understanding of how our Creator wants us to walk. That's the only way that we can guard our soul. Saying a prayer at 8 years old is not guarding your soul. All food may cling is not guarding your soul. Praying to Jesus to forgive you for your sins as you just eat more pork and do all sorts of evil stuff, that's not guarding your soul. Sunday worship, that is not guarding your soul. None of this is. Nailing the laws of the tree, that's definitely not guarding your soul. In fact, that's probably blasphemy. Continuing on, learn to fear Yahuwah.
You shall love Yahuwah with all your heart.
Bind the laws upon your hand, the fronts between your eyes. Write the laws on your doorposts.
Do not tempt Yahuwah.
Do what is right and good in the sight of Yahuwah.
Do not be afraid of your enemies.
Remember Yahuwah. Circumcise your heart.
Cleave to Yahuwah.
Swear by His name. Destroy graven images.
Do not make an idol of Yahuwah as the pagans do to their Elohim.
Rejoice in all Yahuwah has blessed you with. Do not do what is right in your own eyes.
And that's, you guys, that's Christianity, right? That is exactly the religion of Christianity. They bring Paul. Paul is the God of the Christians, and you will have a couple of letters that were not written to you, that were responses to other ecclesias, and you will make it a doctrine, right? I think Sister Barb said it right in a comment I saw right before Shabbat, that these were not scrolls. These were not the scrolls of old. This was a individual that came years after our Messiah came, did not walk with our Messiah, did not do any of this. The only witness accounts that we have that he's even ordained at all is a bright light that came down and he heard some words, right? We don't know who this came from. We don't know the people that this came about, right? We have a warning from Kepha, from Peter, that says, beware of Paul's writings. They will confuse you and lead you to madness. And yet those are all in the same little books that the Christians supposedly read. And so we live in a generation of doing what is right in our own eyes. Just like my dear old mom says, it's not what it means. It's not what it means to me. Christmas, that's not what it means to me. Easter, that's not what it means to me. Keeping this Sunday, that's not what it means to me. We can worship any day we want. That is what it means to you, and doing what is right in your own eyes. Do not hearken to the words of false prophets.
Do not make any boldness between your eyes for the dead.
You shall not eat any abominable thing. You shall not give to a stranger.
You shall give.
You shall give to a stranger clean food that dies of itself, but you shall not eat of it.
Give tithe of your increase of seed year by year.
Laws to the end of the 7-year lease.
Do not borrow from the nations.
Do not harden your heart, nor shut your hand from the poor.
Guard month 1 of Yahuwah's calendar.
3 times a year all males shall appear before Yahuwah. You shall make judges and officers in all your gates.
Do not plant Asherah poles near the altar.
There must be 2 or 3 witnesses.
Do not hearken unto the Nabai.
No, hearken.
To hearken unto the Nabai Yahuwah has chosen.
The prophet test of Deuteronomy. Do not remove your neighbor's property line.
How to deal with a false witness among Torah keepers.
The first child is hit double portions. If your brother's cattle or clothes are lost, and you find them, you must return them.
A woman should not wear what pertains to a man, nor a man wear what pertains to a woman.
If you find a bird's nest, the mother and the babies, or eggs, take the babies, but not the mother. If you build a new house with a flat roof that is able to be lived on, you must put a railing around it.
Do not be a prostitute.
Do not use dirty money. The law of divorce.
Do not take a person's millstone for a pledge.
If you lend to your brother, do not enter his house as your payment. He must bring it to you. Return it slowly before sunset if that was his pledge. Do not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy.
Every man shall be put to death for his own sin.
Do not go back with a forgotten sheep from the field, be it for the stranger, fatherless, and widow. Do not muzzle your ox when he treads out grain.
If your brother dies and has no child,
You shall take his wife and name the firstborn after your brother.
At the end of 7 years, you are to read the Torah at the Feast of Sukkot, the Feast of Tabernacles. Okay, so I see you guys are discussing this about jewelry and things of this nature. We just don't there's not a lot of stuff. Yes, as far as Daniel wearing jewelry, Daniel was in
The Babylonian.
Yeah, he was in the Babylonian culture. I mean, these guys were all sorts of crazy stuff, right? They shaving their eyes and eyebrows and all this other stuff like this. So.
His name changed to Baal.
Yeah, he did. He got his name changed to Baal. So anyway, we don't have a lot of stuff, right? I mean, if you're trying to adorn yourself in vanity and things of this nature and looking good and all this, I don't know. I suppose since we don't have a lot of doctrine on it, I mean, it would be literally up to your guys' selves, but make sure that your heart is in the right spot. And don't do what is right in your own eyes, as the scriptures have told us. Okay, all right, let us get into this.
Daughter of Abraham wants to know, how are men able to fulfill Deuteronomy 25, 5 through 10 now?
Okay, what is it, guys?
Deuteronomy
Is this the one going to Jerusalem?
25, 5 through 10. Hold up.
Okay, hold up. We're getting there.
All right.
Read it.
When brothers dwell together, and one of them has died and has no son, and the widow of the dead man shall not become a stranger outside, her husband's brother goes into her, and he shall take her as wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her.
Yeah, you might get arrested in today's society. This is the law for Yisrael, right? These are the laws for the land. It's something that you probably wouldn't marry this girl. The thing is, a marriage covenant, according to the government, is a legal binding document. This is what it is, right? As far as you could, if you wanted to bypass this, you could simply write somebody a letter. I mean, it would be a little bit sketchy in today's society. The point of this is that you were not supposed to let the lineage of your brother die off, is what that was all about, and you were supposed to take care of the wife of your brother and make sure that there's nobody in Yisrael that was broken and things of this nature. And so it would be a little bit tough in today's society to complete this and to do this. But you could definitely take them in and make sure that they're taken care of, and minus breaking your local laws, you could still take care of the family and do various things. Obviously limited though. So
If the brother has a wife, then how can that occur?
if the brother has a wife, how can that occur? Well, I mean, you could take her in, give her a room, right? I mean, you don't have to legally marry her. You don't have to do any of this kind of stuff. It would be a little bit awkward in this day and age. That being said, I do know people in the Torah community that literally have multiple wives. And I know people that have successful multiple wives, and we've talked to these people, and it's an interesting perspective, right? But we tell people, based upon what Messiah Yahushua said, that the bond is between a man and a woman, and it's when you get into these other areas, it gets a little bit sketchy. The entire point back in the days of having multiple wives and all these different people in your family was that the marauders wouldn't come by and just wipe out everything and all your lineage all in one thing. You were trying to build a family, large family, very quickly. And it never, when you look at Jacob and his entire people, it wasn't a good thing, right? It was not something that nobody got along. The kids never got along. A kid got chucked down the well. All of the brothers were always fighting. It was one of these tough things. And so you got to be very kodesh in what you're doing. And a lot of these, there's a lot of Torah communities that do this for do it just to do it, and it has no plan. They're just being freaky folks, and it never works out. There's way more stories of people attempting this that it doesn't work out. Yes, I consider the book of Dan and Joseph and all the 12 patriarchs. It sounds very, very legitimate when you read it. It's the end time writings of all of these guys, and it seems to match up with scriptures very, very well. Okay, let us get into Numbers 31. Prior to this, Jade, will you please give us a breakdown?
Last chapter we are learning about vows and what not to do. When man vows a vow, or a woman vows a vow, or a daughter vows a vow, then we know what they can do. We learned all that, and we're still in the wilderness. We're quite a ways in the wilderness. But we still got a while more.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so here we are, Numbers 31. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take vengeance for the children of Yisrael on the Midianites. After that, you are to be gathered to your people. And Moshe spoke to the people, saying, arm some of yourselves for the campaign, and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for Yahuwah on Midian. Send 1,000 from each tribe of all the tribes of Yisrael for the campaign. So there were supplied from the tribes of Yisrael 1,000 from each tribe, 12,000 armed ones for the campaign. And Moshe sent them on the campaign, 1,000 from each tribe, them and Pinchas, son of Eleazar, the Kohen of the campaign, on the campaign, with the Kodesh utensils and the trumpets were sounding in his hand. And they fought against the Midianites as Yahuwah commanded Moshe, and slew all the males. And they slew the sovereigns of Midian with the rest of those who were pierced. Ewi, and Rechiam, and Zur, and Ker, and Reva, the 5 sovereigns of Midian. And they slew Bilam, son of Beor, with the sword.
So this dude made it from like Egypt to Moab to Midian, and he died in Moab.
Finally, he died. Yeah, this guy was around for a very long time. Okay, and the sons of Israel took all the women of Midian captive with their little ones, and took as spoil all their livestock and all their possessions. And they burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt, and all their settlements. And they took all the spoil and all the booty, both of man and beast. And they brought the captives and the booty and the spoil to Moshe and to Eleazar the Kohen, and to the congregation of the children of Yisrael, to the camp in the desert plains of Moab, by the Yarden of Jericho. And Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen and all the leaders of the congregation went to meet them outside the camp. But Moshe was wroth with the officials of the army, with the commanders of thousands. What's that?
You said officials, it's officers.
Oh, did I say that? Sorry. But Moshe was wroth with the officers of the army, with the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds who had come from the campaign. Officials would actually work there too as well. Okay. But these were the officers. Okay, so here's a problem. We have a major problem. This was a lot of these guys back in the days have the same problem where they do not wipe out the people. And Moshe said to them, have you kept all the women alive? Look, they are the ones who caused the children of Israel through the word of Bilam to trespass against Yahuwah in the matter of Peor. And there was a plague among the congregation of Yahuwah. Okay, what is this one? What's the what is he talking about with this?
So this was when they were sitting outside of Moab. They started like intermingling with Midian, and Phineas had to run some people through.
Scared him.
Yeah. So, but Bilam was like he's the one who caused everyone to trespass. So it's probably why Bilam ended up dying here, even though he did believe in Yahuwah.
Yeah, he definitely believed in Yahuwah.
But he died for this reason.
Yeah, it didn't mean he was obedient. And a lot of people can believe in our Almighty, but if you're not obedient, then you're just a disloyal Gentile. 17. And now, slay every male among the little ones, and every woman who has known a man by lying with a man you shall slay. But keep alive for yourselves all the female children who have not known a man by lying with a man. And you, camp outside the camp 7 days. Whoever has slain any being, and whoever has touched any slain, cleanse yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And cleanse every garment and every object of leather and whatever is made of goat's hair and every object of wood. And Eleazar the Kohen said to the men of the campaign who went to the battle, this is the law of the Torah which Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Only the gold and the silver, the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, every object that passes through fire, you put through the fire, and it shall be clean. Only let it be cleansed with the water for uncleanness. And whatever does not pass through the fire, you pass through water. And you shall wash your garments on the 7th day and be clean. And afterwards come into the camp. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, count up the plunder that was taken of man and of beast, you and Eleazar the Kohen, and the heads of the fathers of the creation. And you shall divide the plunder into 2 parts, between those who took part in the battle, who went out on the campaign, and all the congregation. And put aside a levy for Yahuwah on the men of battle who went out on the campaign, 1 out of every 500 of man and of the cattle and of the donkeys and of the sheep. Take it from their half and give it to the Eleazar the Kohen as a contribution to Yahuwah. And from the children of Yisrael's half, you shall take 1 of every 50 of man, of cattle, of the donkeys, and of the sheep, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levites, guarding the duty of the Mishkan of Yahuwah. And Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen did as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And the booty remaining from the plunder, which the people of the campaign had taken, was 675,000 sheep, and 72,000 cattle, and 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 human beings in all, of women who had not known a man by lying with a man. Now, something to consider here is you are going to have a bunch of ticked off women. This is no doubt, without a shadow of a doubt. The instructions were to kill them all, but they did not, and so they had to make another law to make this happen, which they killed all the young men, right? They killed all that genealogy, but they just had the women who had not slept with a man and little girls who had not slept with a man. But here in this group of booty, they have a tremendous amount of animals, right? This was a huge addition to the children of Yisrael. This was massive. 36. And the half, the portion for those who went out on the campaign, was in number 337,500 sheep. Just a tremendous amount of things. And the levy unto Yahuwah of the sheep was 675. And the cattle were 36,000, of which the levy unto Yahuwah was 72. And the donkeys were 30,500, in which the levy unto Yahuwah was 61. And the human beings were 16,000, of which the levy unto Yahuwah was 32 beings. So Moshe gave the levy, which was the contribution unto Yahuwah, to Eleazar the Kohen, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And from the children of Yisrael's half, which Moshe divided from the men who campaigned, now the half belonging to the congregation was 337,500 sheep, and 36,000 cattle, and 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 human beings. Tremendous amounts of people. Crazy that, even 12,000 people that were in this little tiny army was able to contain all of these people, deal with all of this, right? There's obviously some sort of spiritual protection that was on the children of Israel to be able to have this kind of endeavor and the successes in this kind of endeavor. Then Moshe took from the children of Israel's half, one out of every 50, drawn from man and beast, and gave them to the Levites, who guarded the duty of the Mishkan of Yahuwah, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And the officers who were over thousands of the campaign, the commanders of thousands, the commanders of hundreds, came near to Moshe. And they said to Moshe, your servants have taken account of the fighting men under our command, and not a man of us is missing. So again, when I was speaking of a spiritual protection, this is the hand of our Creator, and this is why we don't want to tempt Yahuwah. This is why we want to be obedient children of the Most High, right? When it comes down to spiritual protection, we're not going to get this by being Christians. We're not going to get this by being in the religious system that has no regard for the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator. We need to make sure that we are on the right side of history, and that's not putting the laws of our Creator on the cross. That's putting them in the front of us, that we are observant to them, and that they mean everything to us, and that they are value to all of us. So this is, again, you had all these people, 12,000 people, not a single person was missing. That's incredible. 50. So we have brought an offering for Yahuwah, what every man found of ornaments of gold, and armlets, and bracelets, and signet rings, and earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before Yahuwah. And Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen received the gold from them, all the fashioned ornaments, and all the gold of the offering that they presented to Yahuwah from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. Huge amounts. The men of the campaign had taken spoil, every man for himself. And Moshe and Eleazar the Kohen received the gold from the commanders of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of appointment as a remembrance for the children of Yisrael before Yahuwah. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we got. I'm just reading the chat here as we go into this. Where are we into? We're Luke 13 into this. Anything in chat that we need to discuss, or are we good?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. In regards, okay, daughter of Abraham, I have a question. When permitted in regards to Jasher 9:6 and Jasher 9:12 through 18. If Abraham knew El since he was 3, why was he serving the sun, moon, stars as understanding of his heart if Noah taught? That's a good question. I mean, there's, a lot of times a lot of us can get into the wrong understanding of things, right? I know exactly the verses you're talking about on this. in this. And he did. I think he did it like one day, right? He saw the sun and he's like, "Oh, let's worship the sun." And then the sun went down, and he was like, "Well, obviously that's not Elohim." And I think everything in life with all of this is a learning process, right? A lot of us, when we first came into Torah keeping, we didn't have anything except Judaism to like take notes from, right? We were ripping our toilet paper the day before Shabbat because we didn't think, according to the Jews, you can't rip the toilet paper. So these are the things that if we knew the Torah, which we didn't actually know the Torah, why were we ripping toilet paper the day before? Why did this seem like something that we needed to do? Well, we didn't know, and there's a lot of it, and I don't have answers for that. And I've been reading the book of Jasher. As far this was my Shabbat reading, is the book of Jasher, and I know a lot of people have different things on it, and I believe it to be true. I believe that it gives us enough details. We don't know where Eliezer came from if we didn't have the book of Jasher, right? We didn't know any of this stuff. There's a tremendous amount of stuff that we learned from this, and various things, and we can't toss the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to. We spit the bones, keep the meat. And as far as what Torah tells us, we don't have any kind of Torah commands that get changed, right? And so we either take it as history or don't take it as history. And, I guess it really doesn't matter, because as long as we are keeping Torah, as long as we are walking the Torah, Messiah will come and let us know what's legit, what's not legit, and go from there. I don't know. Again, on her second part of that, why did he not know God created those things? Elohim. And guys, it's not really God, right? I mean, when you say God, you're talking about a surtitle, right? His name is Yahuwah, Yahweh. The God is literally a name that the King James changed over 7,000 times. That's not even the proper addressing of this. And so we want to make sure that we're not bringing in these pagan ways. And I will oftentimes, when I'm talking on various readings and stuff, I'm like, Yahuwah, God. So that those who are out there know exactly what I'm talking about. You start talking to a band of Christians and you say Yahuwah or Yahweh, they don't know what you're saying. They're very confused, and so sometimes we have to alter our teachings a little bit over to get the sheep that are out there that are willing to come in on this. And so, all right, let's get into this. Luke 12. Jade, give me a good recap of this. Right, where are we at?
We're on Luke 13.
We are on Luke 13. Give me a recap prior to this.
Okay, we are in the days of Yehoshua. He has been teaching. He took disciples. He took his 12. Then he had 72. Sent out 2 by 2 to teach. Gave them power over spirits and powers to heal. And then he has been teaching and fighting the Pharisees. He also gave us some parables and talking about how we are more important than sparrows and copper coins. And he has been talking about basically how the traditions of men are hurting people, and how the Pharisees and Sadducees are not the good people.
Yeah, and it's not like all Sadducees. There's a lot of people that had a lot of good intent, right? There was a lot of people that loved the Creator Most High. But just like everything, it was a religious system back in the day. A lot of people still couldn't read. A lot of people didn't know. And so they ended up, like the Pharisees and Sadducees, they were a very, very corrupt group of people. They... but when you read the book of the Nazarene, which is the last book in Yah Scriptures, our Messiah gives us a little more clarity on them. And, until I read that book, I pretty much was like, man, every one of these guys are just ruthless, bad people, the Pharisees, Sadducees. But our Messiah says there was a lot of people that were good. They had good hearts. They had good intent. Sometimes we get stuck on traditions of men. Sometimes we get stuck into this stuff, and our Creator will pull us out of this. And the more that we read Scriptures, the less hoax we are going to get. Okay, let's roll. Yeah, sorry guys. Sorry, we get into this stuff. It's one of these things, guys. There's a lot of people here, a lot of different questions, various things of that nature. Sorry, but this is our time together as a big family. So yeah, as far as the Q&A stream, we just we don't have a lot of time during the week, guys. Everybody's going in every separate ways. The only time that we have to get together as a big family is today, and so this is our day if we want to hang out as a big family. Okay, Luke 13. And some were present at that time, reporting to him about the Galileans, whose blood Pilatus had mixed with their offerings. And Yahuwah answering said to them, Do you think that these Galileans were worse sinners than all Galileans because they had suffered like this? I say to you, no. But unless you repent, you shall all perish in the same way. Or those 18 on whom the tower in Shiloh fell and killed them. Do you think that there were greater offenders than all other men who dwelt in Jerusalem? I say to you, no. But unless you repent, you shall all perish in the same way. And he spoke this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came seeking fruit on it and found none. And he said to the gardener, look, for 3 years I have come seeking fruit on this fig tree and find none. Cut it down. Why does it even make the ground useless? And he answering said to him, Master, leave it this year too, until I dig around it and throw manure. And if indeed it bears fruit, but if not, so you shall cut it down. And he was teaching in one of the congregations on the Shabbat. And see, there was a woman having a weakening spirit for 18 years and was bent over and unable to straighten up at all. And Yahushua, seeing her, called her near and said to her, Woman, you are loosened from your weakness. And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was straightened up and praised Elohim. So this was one of these things that really messed with the Pharisees and Sadducees, right? These guys were the policemen of their oral Torah. They weren't just policemen of the Torah, of the first 5 books of Scriptures. They have the Talmud, which was the oral Torah. They have the Zohar and the Kabbalah. They had all of these different books, and anyone ever that came and violated them, these guys could pull them before a congregation. They could actually, if they did this in the temple, they could have them stoned. And so this is one of these things. These were fighting things that Messiah Yahushua did, probably to test absolutely everyone, not just heal this woman, but to test the rest of these guys. But the ruler of the congregation, responding, much displeased that Yahushua had healed on the Shabbat, said to the crowd, there are 6 days on which men should work, so come and be healed on them, and not on the Shabbat day. Then the add-on answered him and said, Hypocrite! Does not each one of you on the Shabbat loosen his ox or his donkey from the stall and lead it away to water it? And this one, being a daughter of Avram, whom Satan has bound, look, for 18 years she could not be loosened from this bond on the Shabbat. And when he said this, all his opponents were put to shame, and all the crowd rejoiced for the splendor being done by him. Now, these are some of these things that we get a little bit of understanding of what Shabbat is about. We have definitely had times where we have had animals and things where we had to go out all day long on a Shabbat to make sure our animals didn't die. It's one of these things that we have goats, we have chickens, and we have to take them out every Shabbat. So in the morning, even on a Shabbat, Eli and one of the boys goes out there and releases the goats, gets them out, and makes sure that they have water. It's not something that is, we can't be derelict of these particular duties when it comes to things that are unable to fix themselves. And this woman was unable to fix herself. 18. Therefore he said, what is the reign of Elohim like, and to what shall I compare it? It is like a mustard seed, which a man took and threw into his garden. And it grew and became a large tree. And the birds of the Shamayim nested in its branches. And again he said, to what shall I compare the reign of Elohim? It is like leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of flour until it was all leavened. And he was going through the cities and villages, teaching and journeying toward Jerusalem. And someone said to him, Adonai, are there few who are being saved? And he said to them, strive to enter through the narrow gate, because many, I say to you, shall seek to enter in and shall not be able. Okay, this is one of these verses that again basically qualifies the amount of people who are saved. You have 3 billion Catholics. You have billions of Christians that call themselves Christians that are not of the Catholicism, but they all call themselves Christians. It doesn't matter which religion it is. They all call themselves Christian, fall under this thing. They all think they're saved. That is what every pastor's out there doing with their altar calls. They will call you up. You will ask for forgiveness. You're saved. There's nothing to it, right? On the wrong day. Celebrating a Shabbat on the wrong day in temples of men with people that don't have a clue what they're even talking about. So we are striving to enter in through the narrow gate, and many, do not make this in. So this is something to be very, very concerned about. Why don't these people make it in? 25. Once the Adon of the house has risen up and shut the door, and you begin to stand outside the door saying, Adonai, Adonai, open for us. And he shall answer and say to you, I do not know you. Where are you from? Then you shall begin to say, we ate and drank in your presence, and you taught in our streets. But he shall say to you, I do not know you. Where you are from? Depart from me, all you workers of unrighteousness. This is a reiteration of Matthew 7, and we know that our Messiah will tell a whole bunch of different parables in a whole bunch of different ways. And the word here is unrighteousness. What is righteousness? Righteousness is abiding by the Torah. It's knowing the Torah, walking the Torah, and not departing from the Torah. And so that is what righteousness is. That's how we are gained entry into the kingdom. And so right here again in the book of Luke, we are told that the people are kicked out of the kingdom because they are Torahless. They are walking in iniquity. They do not care what the Torah is. So if we want entry into the kingdom is about Torah keeping. It's about lawful living. 28. Then there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth with Abram and Yitzchak and Yaakov and all the Neviim in the reign of Elohim and yourselves thrown outside. So this sounds like a bad place to be, right? When we are told to depart, when we are kicked out of the kingdom, when judgment has come and we are not accepted, when we take our last breath, and according to the second book of Ezra, we are taken to a place of doom, despair, and fatigue, and it will never, ever end. Then there's going to be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That is not something that is good. None of that is ever, ever good when we're crying and gnashing our teeth together and we find ourselves thrown outside. Why have we been thrown outside? Because we were lawless, because we didn't care what the Torah is. And every single religious system says the laws have been nailed to the cross. This sounds very, very contrary to what any religion out there has to say. 29. And they shall come from the east and the west, and from the north and the south, and sit down in the reign of Elohim. And see, there are last who shall be first, and there are first who shall be last. Right? What does this mean? Well, it's the same as the parable that our Creator, or that our Messiah has told us, right? When we have the vineyard and we have the workers of the vineyard and the guys that are there all day get paid 1 denarius, right? And then the guys that come at noon they're paid the same amount, and the guys that come at 3 o'clock and they go work the field. Well, there's a lot of us that come at different times. But the point is, whenever we come, if we come, and we become lawful people, we give up this world, we become set apart Kodesh people, we may be last, but then we're going to be first, right? And the first will be last. Very important thing to understand. 31. On the same day, there came a certain Pharisees, saying to him, get out and go from here, for Herodes wants to kill you. And he said to them, go say to that fox, see, I cast out demons and perform healings today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfected. Now, Herodes was a Jew, right? He was part of the Yahudim that became a ruling person of Rome that was basically ruling the Jews. But yet he was a man of tradition. He was a man of all of this stuff. And Messiah just basically said, get lost, right? You're not going to stop this ministry that I am doing. But where did I at? 13? Sorry, guys.
Yeah, 31.
13.
You just finished
31.
13, 31.
I didn't lock my screen. And we're at the very end. Sorry, everyone. 32. And he said to them, actually 33. But I have to journey today and tomorrow and the day following, because it is not fitting for a Navi to perish outside of Jerusalem. He was basically prophesying his death, right? Prophesying where he was going to be killed. Jerusalem, killing the Neviim and stoning those who are sent to her. How often I wanted to gather your children together, the way a hen her chickens under her wings, but you would not. See, your house is left to you laid waste. And truly I say to you, you shall by no means see me until it comes when you say, but he who is coming in the name of Yahuwah. All right, so very, very important things that we have in this reading, right? Again, I think the biggest thing that we can take from all of this is that if we are lawless, if we have no value on the laws, statutes, and commandments, if we are not a part of the kingdom to come, then we're just, it's not going to happen, right? I mean, we need to be obedient people. We need to be lawful. We need to be Yah's people. Okay, let us get into this. I think we're almost done. Let us get into this. Anything else? I'm just reading through the chat here. Yes, Miss Nicole has the names of that.
I just posted the links.
I'm gonna have to give you a new nickname, Miss Nicole. Now I'm sitting here like thinking mystical. You don't want to
said it before.
Okay. All right. Jasher 938. Anyone? What does 938 say? Hold on. We're grabbing this stuff real quick, guys. Getting the last questions, and we are going to be
Jasher what?
938. Which tower? What are we talking about here?
That's it. And as the tower which the sons of man built, the earth of its mountain swallowed up 1/3 part of it, and fire also.
That's the Tower of Babel.
Mhm.
That's the Tower of Babel. Yep. When you read, I mean, this is a portal, right? These guys weren't just building this. This was like a portal to, this was a huge structure. This is like the circumference of it was like 3 days to get around. Yeah. It's an enormous site, but when the tower fell, when Yah destroyed it, I think wind took out part of it. The earth opened up and took out a part of it. This is the Nimrod's world, right? When
Where is the location? Is what she was asking.
the land of Shinar. It was whenever it was. They found a little spot in the land of Shinar, and so somewhere in the Middle East is where this was at. All right, everybody. We love you.
Yet.
What you got?
Jasher 935. What does it mean by apes and elephants? Did they become those?
Read it, Eli.
And Yahuwah smote the 3 divisions that were there, and he punished them according to their works and designs. Those who said, "We will go up to the Shamim and serve our mighty ones," became like apes and elephants. And those who said, "We will smite the Shamim with arrows," Yahuwah killed them, one man through the hand of his neighbor. And the 3rd division of those who said, "We will go up to the Shamim and fight against him," Yahuwah scattered them throughout the earth.
Yeah, so there's a lot of speculation here. I mean, they could have just gone mad, right? We don't have anything that they literally became apes and elephants. I mean, you could surmise maybe that's what it was, but you had 3 different groups of people, and every 3 groups of people had a different evil objective that they were going to do, right? Some of them were going to go up there and kill Yahuwah. They were going to put their own little gods up at the top of it. Every one of these people were very vile, evil people, and so whether or not they just went crazy and started beating on their chests and never lost their mind, we know from Nebuchadnezzar that is something that our Creator can absolutely do, take your mind from you. So Elohim giveth and Elohim can taketh away. So I don't think we have any other places in Scripture that talks about anything like that. You're a pity parents too.
Hold on.
We love pity parents.
Sister Barb, a brother is asking, when can you all do a question and answer live session? Maybe one night a week?
I don't know. This house, we're so wild and woolly. It's tough, guys. We have a heck of a schedule here, and so we're always booking it up. We all 5 of us go in separate directions every single day, and everybody takes off and goes everywhere. So I don't have any kind of answers for this. The next live thing that we're going to actually won't even be live, but the next thing the boys will be doing is they will be reading out of the Escrituras of Yah. Yah Escritures. How did I say that right, guys?
No,
Say it. Say it.
Escrituras.
Scriptures. Say it. That's why I'm not reading it, everybody. The boys speak Spanish fluently, so they will be reading Spanish. They're going to be taking up at least a once a week reading of the Spanish as it comes out, and then that way we're ministering to a whole nother set of languages. But I have no answers on this. I mean, let Yah be the worker of all things in our calendar for sure.
So this would be a long one, but Adam wants to know, what are your thoughts on Apostle Paul? And Jeannie says, Jason, can you do? And Paul said.
Yeah, well, that's the way of the Christians, right? You will tell them that Paul is not their Elohim. They're like, well, Paul said. And that's exactly what it is. And so Paul, if you look at Paul as taking away the laws, then Paul is a heretic, right? That's the bottom line. If you want to take every single thing that he says in context, and Paul was the greatest of the Pharisees, right? He was studying under the very most astute ones, which is why inside of all of Paul's writings, you learn things like women should not talk in an assembly. And if we were all under the wisdom of Paul, then every single woman that was even messaging in the comments below is breaking the words of Paul. So Paul he has no power. Some of Paul's writings are beautiful, right? But at the same time, it's not exactly clear. But here's something to understand. Historians of Greek writing have come together, and there's actually books out there written, and there's only like 2 or 3 of Paul's writings that people even attribute to something of the same person. Every single one of these writings in Greek are written differently. They do not believe they are the same individual. And back in the day, if your name was Bob and you wrote something, nobody's going to read Bob's writings, right? You're going to have to sign your name Paul, and people are like, oh no, let's read this. So at the point that you ever think the laws of our Creator have gone away, then Paul has become a stumbling block into your life. When you guys are very Torah based and you guys know the Torah front and back, then the writings of Paul will not trip you up. You'll just have to walk away scratching your head and going, wow, I have no idea what the heck this guy's even talking about. Why would he say things the way he says things, right? But a lot of people swear by him, right? A lot of people, this is their God. The Christians are always like, Paul said. And so we have to make sure that we are following Elohim and not following man. So with that, everybody, we love you guys very, very, very much. We hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Shabbat shalom to all of you. Jade, will you please bless our brothers and sisters?
Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuwah lift his face upon you and give you peace.
Okay. All right. Here we are.
Walking steady on this road you made. Every step guided by your ways. When I listen close, I understand all your truth held in your perfect plan. Rising higher than before, lifting praise from deep in my core. Lifting praise, Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. In the morning when I rise to pray, in the evening as I end each day, every word you speak becomes my song, teaching me where I belong. Rising higher than before, your truth is what I'm living for. Living for Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your light. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. Your love surrounds me. Your love surrounds me. Your truth is found me. Your truth is found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me found every day, every way. Leading me, setting me. Yahuwah, your presence sets me free. Dancing wild 'cause you're all I need. My heart alive with pure delight as I move within your life. Dancing, praising, celebrating. Your ways are true and I'm not waiting to lift my hands to you. To lift my hands to you. Forever lifting praise to you.
All right, beautiful family, we love you tremendously. May Yahuwah bless you and keep you. May his light forever shine on you. May the face of Messiah Yahushua always be the leading light in your guys' life. May we all high five each other in the kingdom to come as we have been obedient children